The Card Counter is the newest film from Oscar Isaac, the Poe Dameron actor, of course, and card counting really does not play a part in this movie whatsoever. I was lucky enough to see this film early, and I'm going to give you my thoughts right now. Hey everybody, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I'm sending you all positive vibes your way. But if you're new here and you want to see more early movie reviews just like this, movie reactions, and hangout live streams where we talk about movies, then this is the place for you. Consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I appreciate every single one of you. And so do my partners at Movie Scene Canada. Make sure you check them out as well. Their link will be in the video description box below. But today, I'm going to give you my honest, no BS review for The Card Counter and tell you if it's worth a watch. So, we have The Card Counter, directed by Paul Schrader, and you know him from movies such as Light Sleeper, Blue Collar, and First Reformed. And it stars Oscar Isaac, Tiffany Haddish, and Sheridan. Very interesting group of characters right there. And it's about an ex-military interrogator who becomes a professional gambler, and when he rises the ranks of the professional gambling scene, we see him fight with the ghosts of his past. Now, is this movie worth a watch? It depends. It depends on what you want from a movie like this. There are parts in this film that I really enjoyed, and there are other parts where I was so bored. Now, I just watched Kate on Netflix, the Mary Elizabeth Winstead action movie a couple days ago, and this movie is almost a reverse of that, where Kate was a movie with a pretty lackluster story, but it was told in a very visually exciting way. This movie is the opposite. I can see a really fascinating movie in here, but it is just suppressed with bland, boring, drab direction. My best analogy for this would be, think of a guy at a party with a really boring, mundane story, but he tells it with such flash and energy, and you're like, oh my god, I'm really invested, even though the story is, quite boring. But then you have a really amazing story told by someone who just can't hold your attention, who can't hook you, and just keeps on getting sidetracked, and you're like, okay, dude, come on, let's just get this story over with. I'm interested in what you're saying because, it's an interesting story, but come on, dude, you gotta spice it up a little bit. That's this movie. Now, Oscar Isaac. Really great performance, really subtle performance, and every single line of dialogue that he delivers, you can just feel the weight of what has happened to this character in the past and his struggle and his trauma. Every single time he's on screen, he commands the screen with his presence. He has charm, he's charisma, he's really good in this movie, and seeing his struggle with his past actions, I won't spoil what they are, it's a really fascinating story, and I really felt like, again, it's frustrating because I want to see this movie. I want to see this story be told. It is lost in extremely bland direction. And like I said earlier, how The Card Counter really doesn't have any card counting in it. This movie should be called Talking at Casino Bars the Movie, because that's what the movie is. You have some characters go to the bar at the casino, sit down, order drinks, they talk, very standard shot reverse shot, really bland cinematography. They talk with just really boring, dry dialogue. Then he goes home, Oscar Isaac's character, William Tell, goes home or goes to a motel, thinks about his past, goes to do some gambling, rinse and repeat. That's the entire movie. Now, when the movie started, you hear some voiceover from Oscar Isaac talking about card counting and talking about blackjack and poker, and I was like, oh my god, is this going to be like The Big Short? Because that movie is fantastic, and I don't know a single thing about the stock market, but that movie made me care about it. That movie made me feel like an expert in that subject. And when this movie started, when he's talking about all this card counting business, I'm like, do I want to get out, a notebook and start taking down notes and go to a casino and really try out my luck? Obviously, I wasn't going to do that, but it made me miss going to the casino. It made me miss playing cards. It made me want to become a better card player. Even though I don't really go to casinos that often, I'm like, this is going to be really fascinating. The movie is not about that really whatsoever. It's just a coat of paint for the overall story, but even still, it's really not in the movie that much. So if you're expecting some big poker casino movie, while sure the movie takes place in a casino, it's not that type of movie at all. This story was told in such a bland, boring way. It needed some spice. It needed some flavor. This is so just meat and potatoes with some salt on it. You need some barbecue sauce, guys. You need to bring some energy to it. Sheridan's performance was spotty at best, and he can give a good performance. I've seen it. Here, it's like, oh man, it's getting into M. Night Shyamalan territory. The pacing was a real problem, and I think the biggest problem with this movie that will plague just average moviegoers, maybe not cinephiles, because when I watch a movie, even if I'm watching it at home, I almost rarely turn it off. When I start a movie, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna finish it. I never really turn away. But I know a lot of people who might not be the biggest cinephiles in the world where they will put on a movie on Netflix, you know, and then after 10 minutes, if they just aren't hooked, then they turn it off, right? I know a lot of people like that, which to me, it doesn't fit in my brain, but this movie they will turn off because the vital information about William Tell's character, Oscar Isaac's character, is not revealed until very late in the movie, and it's hinted at early, okay? But the way that they hint at it is, again, just with some dry dialogue, really bland cinematography, just characters talking at a casino. And honestly, I'm like, okay, why am I supposed to care? This is really boring. I almost checked out of the movie at that point. But of course, later on in the movie, when you find out about his character, I'm like, okay, this is visual. This is entertaining. This is very surreal. It's very experimental in a way. It's very creative. And I was really invested at that point. It came a little too late. And I think a lot of people will be checked out by the movie at that point. And I think a lot of people will just turn it off, especially if they watch it at home. They're like, I'm not watching this. This movie is boring and bland and dry. And I totally agree with you. And it's frustrating because I see a good movie in here. It's just buried. It is really, really deep down there. So again, I was wanting to see this movie really succeed because I'm like, okay, I understand what they're trying to do. I like Oscar Isaac's performance. I think he's great in the movie, but come on, just give me something. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 2 out of 5. It was okay. I almost was thinking about giving it a 1. Almost. But, you know, the ending, I'm like, okay, you know what? It sticks the landing. But god damn it, it takes a long time to get there. A lot of just dry, bland, boring direction. It is a real shame. And now, I'm not one of those people who will be like, you know, if I was directing this movie, I could tell it in a more exciting... I'm not gonna do that. But... if this movie was directed by like a David Fincher and had some rewrites where it would be more streamlined, that's what I think could benefit this movie, right? I'm not saying that that's what would work, right? Because you never know. But this movie, again, it seems like there's a great story here, but it's just lost in some vision that isn't unique or exciting or engaging, and it doesn't hook you. This one was frustrating for sure. But what about you guys? Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. What did you think of the card counter? This movie has very high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and I can understand why, right? Like, I understand, you know, people really enjoy the character story, and I do too, but like, I just wish that it was told in a more engaging way. That's it. So again, it's a frustrating one, but if you guys watch it, let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. I read and react to every single comment, and I love discussing these movies with you guys down there. And again, guys, hit like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more videos just like it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time.